Regular meeting of the Mishawaka Common Council for Monday, September 9th, 2024 will please come to order. Good evening. Those of you who are in attendance, we're happy to see you. If you would, please take a moment to check your cell phone to make sure that you have placed it on silent or vibrate. And for those of you who are participating remotely, we welcome you also. Members of the public participating remotely are asked to place their microphone on mute during the meeting with the exception of any public hearing. At the appropriate point in the meeting, I will invite the public to unmute the microphone for purposes of submitting comments that they may wish to make one person at a time. All persons wishing to make public comments will be asked to first state their name and address for the record, and after completing the comment, we once again ask that you place your microphone on mute. And we thank all of you this evening for your cooperation. With that, if you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Hazen?
Here.
Mrs. Volker?
Here.
Mr. Carroll?
Here.
Mr. Benicki?
Here.
Mr. Emmons?
Here.
Ms. Hahn?
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Here.
Mr. Violi?
Here.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Here. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of August 19th, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections? Then hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President, we have appeal number 2024-40 to the honorable members of the Mishawaka Common Council. This is a use variance to allow for food truck and developmental variance for reduction in high privacy fence from 7 foot to 6 foot for 426 East Mishawaka Avenue. This is signed by Donald Menwater. We also have petition number 2024-09 to the honorable members of the Common Council, City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is a rezone from C1 General Commercial to R3 Multifamily Residential for a 4-unit apartment building at 3728 Lincoln Way East. This is signed by Vadim Lubin. We have the swearing in of the Mayor's Youth Council.
Thank you. With that, we will turn the floor over to Mayor Wood, I presume, for the swearing in of the Mayor's Youth Council.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council members, Dave Wood, Mayor, here for our annual swearing in of our Youth Council members. This marks our 14th Youth Council under my terms, and we think, I haven't done the complete math yet, but we're crossing over that 200 threshold for students who have gone through our program. It is, as I've said oftentimes to you, it is, I believe, my most important initiative for the future of Mishawaka, and that is the development of our future leaders today. These kids come to us from 3 high schools in Mishawaka. That's Mishawaka High School, Penn High School, Marion High School. Pretty well evenly divided between the 3. We have 34 students this year from all kind of walks of life and interest, and we have a lot of talent, I can already tell you, with these kids. You're going to be reading about them, seeing them perform some pretty amazing things now and into the future. They will absolutely be success stories in this group right here. This program, as you know, is a 2-year program. It starts off between sophomore, junior, and senior year of college or of high school, and most of the time our kids come back for the 2nd year, and that's been the case this year. In that time, we will educate them about local government, the level of government that is least known about, but provides the services that are fundamental to our community and are vital, that in most cases we can't live without. So we'll give them a deep dive into local government, starting with the swearing in here, but also we'll take them through multiple departments as well. We already have those scheduled out for the year. They're going to get the opportunity to, as usual, to go to the fire department, the police department, climb electric poles and do some pretty exciting things. We will also this year have some unique opportunities. We get to open a new fire station, so these kids will have an opportunity to tour the new fire station, the Survive Alive house, and some of those things before the public gets to see them. This group will get a little crash course in Mishawaka history. I've kind of teased them with it. They don't yet know that they're going to be doing this, but they're going to tour an environmental wasteland, the former Dodge site. It's not as bad as all that, but before we demo it and after we acquire it, we're going to take these kids through to show them what work in Mishawaka used to be like, and where a lot of our, in my case, my dad and many of our relatives worked in Mishawaka. We think it'll be a great experience for them. They're going to also do some community service. We do a major project every year. We're just in the initial planning stages of that for this year. And this is project year. Every 2 years we do a project. And so this is project year. We will do a significant project. We already have an executive committee made up of second-year students that have already been engaged through the summer and in planning for our major project. We've sent our application downstate. We're going to be seeking some funding. These kids will raise the funds, conceive of a project that we think will be very cool and will be all over the city. You will see them in many spaces, and highly unique to Mishawaka and Mishawaka's history, but it will be an art project. So a little teaser there. And then we will, of course, take every opportunity to get out and experience Mishawaka, whether that's through our company tours. This year we're going through a Mishawaka manufacturer, and we'll have some opportunities to even go downstate and meet with other youth councils. We continue to develop this program. It continues to be among the model programs anywhere in the state of Indiana, considered a best practice, and the one that when new mayors and local governments want to start, they call us first, and that continues to be the case. This program could not happen without the help of a lot of people who essentially run it, and that includes predominantly my wife, Jamie. This is her passionate program that she loves. This marks, as I said, the 14th year. This marks the first year that I will not have my own kid in this class. So we're empty nesters these days. And then also my assistant, Krista, and Debbie, my assistant in office as well, helps an awful lot. And then this year we have an intern from the University of Notre Dame. And she comes to us from Colorado. She is a sophomore at the University of Notre Dame. And her name is Maddie Cunningham. I'll ask her to stand right there. So this is, she just started work today. So she will be very instrumental in the success of this program this year. We're looking forward to having her. And so we also try to run this as a government body. They will take the same oaths that you do, that I do, and they will swear in on the same family Bible that all of our public servants do. Our police department, every police, firefighter, department manager, myself swear in on this Bible. So they're going to get that opportunity to do that. But really, this is about developing future leaders, as I said, and these kids will have a very hands-on experience in doing that. This is paid for out of our Civil City budget, but it is not paid for from our taxpayers. It comes from gifted funds. And so this program is made possible by gifts from whether it's organizations or individuals. And so we're proud of that too. And so without too much else to say about this, I'll let you get on with your meeting, but I would like to invite the kids up. And I'll do that by calling them one by one, and if I could ask them to stand, and then once you're all here standing, we will commence with swearing in. And so I will get going with that, but first of all, before I do that, I want to thank parents, because we know that these kids could not provide this level of commitment without the support of their parents. And so we will promise you we'll take good care of them, we'll feed them well, we will get them back home to you in a timely manner, and we may make them a little uncomfortable from time to time, and like asking them to speak or to give input. But I can guarantee you they will come out of this program a different person. We've seen that because I've got 2 people who have left the program, but we can't seem to get rid of. They just keep wanting to stay, and I love that they volunteer their time to help our students. So our mentor for many years now, Parker Norris, I'm going to ask him to stand, former Youth Council President, Mishawaka High School grad, and last year's president completed the program, and he has volunteered this year to be my liaison between the last class and this upcoming class, and that's Nish Proshun. I've bragged about him an awful lot to you. You probably recognize him. So these kids, have many, many more things that they could be doing, but the fact that they are here tonight and committing very least one night a month for the city of Mishawaka and for our citizens says an awful lot about them. And so I want to thank their parents for making that commitment. So without further ado, let's do some swearing. I'm going to call up our youth council members, so I don't think this is alphabetical order, but all right. Andrew Rimmelsbach. I love that he dressed up in a shirt and tie and suit. Angie Lynn. Anna Yoder. Ariana Rice. Blake Vandenberg. Brianna Marable. Caitlin C.J. Valentine. Dominic Boozy. Eliza Wright. Ellie Adams. Ellis Kaplan. Emily Archambault. Ethan Cunningham Gloucester. Grace Henry. Hugh Mitchell. Ishita Massady. John Lesh. Josephine Phillips. Kate Gradeless. Landon Neighbor. Leah Gradeless. London Duval. Lydia Choi. Lydia Shelley. Margaret Copens Clark. Mackenzie Finn. I recognize this name, Millie Mamalenti. Nicholas Quiet. Oriana Pierce. Prescott Horvath. Sheridan Pellico. Sophia Garatoni. Tobias Prince. Ty Caruso. We're also going to swear in our volunteers. All right. Nishorgo Proshun. And Parker Norris. Borrow this and a here. Okay. So we'll start off by asking you to repeat after me. Raise your right hand. Act like you're placing your left hand on the Bible. Please repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will if we can maybe some pictures real quick, and then on your way out, I'm going to ask you to form a line and shake every council member's hand along with the quick block.
Everybody look right over here at me, okay? Big smiles.
They're going to shake council members' hands, and then they're going to adjourn to our upstairs youth council room that previous youth council designed. And tonight's election night. They will elect their own leaders.
Congratulations. Good to see you again. Congratulations. Good luck. Congratulations.
Okay. Parents, although I know that you are enthralled by the inner workings of city government and would love to stick around for our council meeting, as your students exit the chambers, you may feel free to join them. And congratulations to you as well on your children being involved in this wonderful program. That's one way to empty a room. Congratulations, Ken. Yeah. All I have to do is come to the front. It's the guy from the complex. All right, as we close the doors, I will note for the record that this evening we have no report of any special committee, so we'll move into ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2024-23, an ordinance declaring an emergency and transferring and reappropriating funds within the budget adopted for the calendar year ending December 31st, 2024. This is in seated funds in the amount of $100,000.
Proposed ordinance 2024-23 will be assigned to the Budget and Finance Committee. Resolutions.
Resolution R 2024-17, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, approving a petition of the Mishawaka Board of Zoning Appeals for the property located at the northeast corner of North Fur Road and Beacon Parkway.
Thank you. We will now move into the public hearing on proposed resolution 2024-17. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward to the podium, although my sense of it is that we have someone participating online who wishes to present on behalf of the appellant. So we'll go ahead and extend that invitation to you, Mr. Tyken.
Yes, good afternoon. Can all of you hear me?
Your volume is a little bit low. I'm not sure if it's on your end or ours.
I can try to move my mouth a little closer here. Is that better?
That's much better. Now you're booming in our ears, but we'll try to strike a happy medium, but please continue,
I'll
sir.
find a
Thank you.
balance here. Yeah, thanks everyone. My name is Jordan Tyken. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Continental Properties. We've appeared before the board a handful of times throughout the approval process for our Springs at Mishawaka community on the northeast corner of Beacon Parkway and Fur Road. The reason that I am presenting here this evening is we are seeking a use variance for a leasing or sales trailer. Typically, Continental prefers to stage a leasing trailer on site prior to the completion of our clubhouse, and internal to our clubhouse is a leasing office. Our current construction schedule projects that clubhouse building and leasing office turning in about the middle of May. I think the date's May 15th. And typically we like, once the parking lot for the clubhouse and entry drive is completed and constructed, we stage a approximately 12 by 48 foot trailer on the site. And I believe there were images of that trailer in the staff report this evening, where tentative residents can come and meet with our staff and get an idea of what it would be like to live in the community and ultimately sign a lease. So that's the quick presentation. Happy to answer any questions you guys may have, and look forward to becoming part of the community. We are well underway with construction. I'm not sure if any of you have driven by the site, but we are well underway. So with that, I'll leave it up to any questions you all may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council? Mr. Emmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your presentation. I had just one question on this temporary sales trailer. How long will that be stationed out there on the property?
Yep. Yeah, so typically about 3 months. So I would imagine that we would wreck the trailer around the middle of February. So approximately the middle of February to the middle of May. So about 3 months.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions from the council? Then, thank you, sir. We appreciate your presentation. If you would, please mute your microphone once again. Thank you. And with that, we will open up the podium for anyone wishing to speak in favor of the proposed resolution. Please come forward. Then is there anyone else participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question. Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed resolution passes 9-0. Resolution R 2024-18, a resolution of the Common Council, City of Mishawaka, Indiana, adding parcels to the city's property acquisition list associated with a previously approved Common Council Resolution 2014-07, which approved an order of the City of Mishawaka Plan Commission approving certain declaratory resolution and amendment to the boundaries of the Northwest Area Improvement Project, consolidation of the Southside Economic Development Area, and the Northwest Improvement Project into one consolidated area improvement project, and an amendment to the Economic Development Plan for the Consolidated Area Improvement Project adopted by the City of Mishawaka Redevelopment Commission. This is adding miscellaneous property to the city acquisition list of 1554 East McKinley Avenue.
Thank you. We will now open the public hearing on proposed resolution 2024-18. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of council. Ken Prince, Director of Planning and Community Development for the city. As I've presented to the council on multiple other occasions, when we consolidated the TIF district in 2014, we identified many of the corridors in the city as within that consolidated TIF area. And by law, when you go to expand a road, you have to add property to the acquisition list. When you buy property for redevelopment associated with the TIF district, you need to add it to the acquisition list. Rather than estimate the hundreds of properties at that time that would be required, we made the decision to bring them to you individually. So even when the consolidated TIF was created in 14, every time we do a road project or every time we do a project where we're acquiring property, including for blight, we would bring that property to you to add it to the acquisition list, and that's what we're doing this evening. At the northwest corner of Fur and McKinley, we were contacted by a realtor approximately a month ago regarding our interest in acquiring that property. So if you're familiar with the property, it's a former brake shop. It's currently vacant. It needs a little love, I guess is the most politically correct way to say that. But when we evaluated the property, specifically, we identified not only the blight removal, but also the future. Our long-term plan is to extend a multi-use path on Fur Road, extending north, basically north and south, to connect to both to the Riverwalk and also north. We think this is the logical multi-use path connection going to the north part of the city as Fur Road is expanded. In fact, when we partnered with Habitat for the Fields project, that multi-use path is already in place from Jefferson going north to right immediately south of Cove Place. And by multi-use path, just let me be clear that we're talking about an 8-foot wide sidewalk. 8 foot is that minimum dimension needed to accommodate both pedestrians and bicycles. So our standard walk is 5 feet, this is 8 feet. But even with that, if you look at that corner at the northwest corner, there is very limited room to add a walk in the future. We also have plans to widen McKinley to 5 lanes over a period of time. I will say that that project is probably more than 10 years out at this moment. Based on funding, we have other priorities for federal funds, so as we move with federal funds, we'll be looking to add that. It's already part of the transportation plan, but the reality is we only have so much federal funding available. We've designated that corridor for that funding. So that's how we currently intend to pay for that project over time. Basically, when the realtor brought the project to us, they had a previous sale pending. It was determined, and I won't get into the sort of details, but the current owner had a medical emergency and was incapacitated. His son took over the property. They need the sale of the property to fund the expenses. Right now, the previous buyer was lined up, found out that there wasn't water and sewer available or currently extended to the property. It's currently on septic and well. And based on that, the property wasn't closed. The seller reached out to the city and asked if we had an interest, and based on that proximity, the small size of the property, and pending projects and cleaning up blight are the reasons why we're asking it to be added to the acquisition list at this time. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Mr. Benicki.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Prince. Was this a former gas station?
It was a former gas station. It was a brake shop after that, but there are tanks in the ground. We do have environmental consultant Heartland who's working on the Dodge property, who has evaluated the property, and they believe it's eligible for some gas station cleanup funding, but that's yet to be determined.
Okay, so, and that's the question is the city then going to be on the hook for the cleanup cost on that?
Yes. The consultant believes that it will be eligible for these specialized cleanup funds, but ultimately, if those funds are not provided to us, we are the entity that would be responsible for cleaning it up. And we do that on every project. So when we do road projects, a good example is 3rd Street. When we just did 3rd Street downtown, there were extra costs associated with the leaking gas station that was immediately adjacent to it. We're responsible for bearing that cost. Same with when we acquire this property. We do take on, and I'm not the environmental lawyer, so somebody else can answer this question. But based on the Phase 1 that'll be completed on the property before our purchase, it does provide a level of immunity, but in this case, I don't believe there's going to be any, in terms of demonstrating who provided the leak. I believe in our past instances, we've been the one that have cleaned up the property. I don't know if an insurance, I know with Barrett Oil, there was an insurance claim on that property, and they ended up cleaning the property. I'm not sure if that would be available for this property, but I do know if this were a standard where we were just expanding the right-of-way, any cleanup that would occur, and it's increasingly difficult when there's an operating business on the property. It actually aids us in the cleanup of the property by having all the property so we can excavate and do the cleanup that's necessary to clean it up. So ultimately, for example, if we were expanding McKinley and we were relocating utilities and we encountered that environmental contamination, we would have to clean that up as part of that extension. We believe that owning the property is actually a better way to handle it long-term.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for Mr. Prince? Mr. Carroll?
Just a quick one, Mr. President. Mr. Prince, the path, are you talking about the west side of the road going up?
We haven't studied it beyond, but I know the current path is on the west side. It would be logical to extend it on the west side.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for Mr. Prince? Mrs. Hazen?
I just had a quick question. So there is a building on the property. Do you have any timeline of, would you look to demolish that, or are you just going to leave the building?
No, and typically when we acquire properties, we don't like to leave the building standing because they're a liability, to be honest
Right.
with you. So we would do the necessary, there is a series of environmental, completing the Phase 1, and then we would apply for the funding for the environmental mitigation for the property. And then pending that, I would estimate that the removal would occur in spring of next year, something to that effect.
Thank you. Other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the proposed resolution? If so, please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone in attendance this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question. Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Beninky?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Resolution passes 9-0.
Thank you. This evening, we have no ordinances on second reading, so we will move into the privilege of the floor. And at this time, members of the public are invited to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor. And we will extend that same invitation to anyone participating remotely. Is there anyone wishing to speak under privilege of the floor? Seeing no one, we will now move on into unfinished business, of which there is none. New business. Is there any new business to come before the council? Ms. Hahn?
The quarterly meeting of the West End Neighborhood Watch Group will be tomorrow at 7 PM at the St. David's Community Center. We will have Heidi Peebles, she's with CAPS, which is, forgive me, I don't know the abbreviation for that, but it's Citizens Helping Out Keeping the Park Safe. She's going to speak, and Officer Bruce Phelps-Hinsky will be there as usual. So the public is welcome. Please come, 7 PM tomorrow.
Thank you. Other new business. Mrs. Volker?
Thank you. I was kind of surprised that Mr. Lynch didn't pop up to remind all of us about Dora, right? We got Dora that's going to be in effect at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, right outside the mill, and I know I'll be down there, and I hope, you know, it's been kind of a long time coming. Hope other people can come out and have a celebratory beverage and experience Dora.
Mr. Lynch, is there any truth to the rumor that you're going to buy the first round for the community at the Dora kickoff event?
I second that.
Thank you. And thank you for the work that you've done to get us to help get us to this point, Mr. Lynch. Any other new business? Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just a reminder that we're picking up our Twin Branch Neighborhood Watch meeting after the summer hiatus. First one back will be September 18th at Fire Station Number 4 off of Harrison by Hums at 7 p.m. Our guest speaker will be some folks from the Troyer Group that will, part of the design team. So come by on the 18th at 7 p.m., meet the design team, see the concept, learn about the design and construction schedule. Have any questions or comments, this would be the time to do so. So Neighborhood Watch Meeting, 18th, Fire Station number 4 at 7 p.m. All are welcome.
Thank you, sir, and once again, congratulations on your daughter joining the Mayor's Youth Council.
Thank
So,
you very
it's a
much.
Wonderful thing. Any other business to come before the council? And hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order. We're adjourned. Thank you, folks.